Going into the season, there was definitely a few teams I thought could compete for the title. I obviously thought Arsenal and Man City were going to be there, and I also still thought Liverpool were going to come back and probably be a part of it, having a poor year last year. Teams like Aston Villa have got involved, and teams like Tottenham are very much better than they were, so there's definitely a good, healthy race at the top of the league. And while I still think Man City are probably the favourites in most people's eyes, I think this week has changed my opinion, and I think Liverpool, to me, are the team to be worried about if you're any other fan of any other club. And here's why. Now, no doubt about it, all of you will know, obviously I know, Jurgen Klopp is probably one of the best managers in the world and probably one of the most iconic managers in general. He's done so much for the game for so many years. He was brilliant at Dortmund, decent at Mainz, and he's been amazing at Liverpool, really elevating that team to a team that was coming 8th, 9th to a team really competing at the top of the game. Of course, his blend of intense pressing and making sure he had players that knew that role and having his wingers be inside forward, scoring a lot of attack, has made Liverpool a very iconic team with a lot of teams trying to emulate what they do. We'll also say overall his talent ID has been amazing. People like Alisson and Van Dijk are the ones they spent a lot of money on, absolute world-class players, and they spent little amounts of money on players that have also helped with the team. I mean, even people like Shaqiri are very good for the cheap amount they bought him for. And I know there's been complaints that they haven't invested enough by FSG not really caring, and I understand that, but they have invested a decent amount and they've made a very good team with still a budget. I mean, they only spent 30 mil on Salah and Mane, and them two are very, very much amazing players for them. Going into this season, I thought they definitely were a threat, but I was not really too sure about their whole new midfield and how Jurgen Klopp was going to work it. And going into the start of the season, the first 10 games, I didn't really think they were going to be there. It wasn't because the results were necessarily bad, because they were still good. I just thought they were getting very lucky and they didn't play amazing a lot of games. They were sort of getting a bit of away with it. And for a while this season, they have got away with results for not playing well. I know so have Arsenal, so have Man City. That's sort of how it worked. But Liverpool were often just scoring long shots. I mean, the game against Fulham where they won 4-3 is crazy. They literally scored 4 amazing goals and probably deserved to lose to Fulham. But they rolled with the punches and they kept going, and that's fair play to them. And now I think they are insane. The fact that they went to the Emirates and beat Arsenal 2-0, although they did get very lucky, I don't care what anyone says, they had a couple of shots and Arsenal had loads and missed so many good chances. They didn't even have Salah or Van Dijk, two of their most better players they have, really. And they've been very convincing against these teams recently. I mean, they're very convincing against Aston Villa at Anfield, and they are very good this season. They easily beat them. And I thought they were very good at Man City. I don't think they were brilliant the whole game, but they got a result in the end and could have won it. So I thought, they've still been very good this season. There's been so much success stories around Liverpool this year. The midfield has worked and changed so much, but I think they've finally found that mix. When Endo plays in defensive midfield, they are insane. And even games where he hasn't played against Arsenal recently, because he's gone to the Asian Cup, I still thought they were very good in that midfield. People like Curtis Jones did a video about him. He's been insane this season. I've been very happy with the encouragement of Gravenberch and McAllister. Maybe not starting every game, but they've been good to play off the bench, and they're good in some games. And the success of Szoboszlai, they spent a lot of money on him, and he was brilliant when he came in. He's definitely had a bit of patches where he hasn't been brilliant, and some of his work rates and tackles and interception and passes haven't been great. I mean, against that Man United game, I think he was awful. However, he has been overall really, really good, and he's just great attacking threat that they needed. If you look at goals and assists, you won't see what Szoboszlai does in the games. It's not really about that for him. It's about getting the ball to the attackers and running with the ball up the pitch, and he's been brilliant at it. He's a real star for this team. And I think that just is a testament all to how good of a manager Jurgen Klopp is. They got rid of 4 to 5 midfielders in the summer and bought 5 new players in the same midfield this year. You would never see in big teams buy that many players in one position and have to get them to work together, and he deserves immense credit to get it to work so well already. And I think Liverpool are a real threat. And their ability just to thrash teams at home is definitely going to help them. Against Newcastle, I know it's only 4-2 in the end, but them having nearly an 8xG, of course 2 penalties in there, but that is a crazy amount. That is stupid. Premier League record that was for XG. And honestly, watching that game, they could have created even more. They had so many shots from inside the box, so many shots from outside the box. Every shot they were having was nearly going in. They looked electrifying. They genuinely looked so scary. They're so good going forward sometimes. And the key thing is they're so ruthless going forward. They do create a lot and they still don't score necessarily some games, but they're so ruthless compared to Man City and Arsenal and Villa. I think they're the most ruthless attack in the system. Even when people like Nunez are struggling to score, they've got everyone stepping up. And this season, they've been able to afford that some of these players haven't been brilliant. I don't think Diaz has been amazing. I don't think Nunez in some games he's been great. Some games he has, he's a very weird chaos player. I do love him though. And I don't think Gakpo's been overly good either, but that doesn't really matter. Jota comes back, he looks electric. Obviously, you got Salah there, still brilliant. There's goals from midfield, people are contributing there, people are helping. I just think it all works, and it's such an electrifying team to watch. And they have had defensive issues at the start of this season. I think they've definitely got to the point where they're sort of working on that, and they've worked with Joe Gomez coming in. Obviously, they've had injuries to a lot of left fullbacks that they've had, and Kwanzaa's come in and showed a bit of promise. They've tried to get into that to work, and I think slowly you're starting to see a proper formed defence. Obviously, when they have Alisson, the best keeper in the world, it does help them. And this is all without mentioning the anomaly of the team. The one player that is a real star, and it's probably his team overall, and that is Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, there's been times where his defensive work hasn't been brilliant. He's not great on a 1v1. He's still not great. I mean, even against Arsenal, he really struggled when they came at him, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. He genuinely is a tactical anomaly. He stops so much. Arsenal try to play one way, and they know they can't even go down a whole side, because if Trent gets the ball, they know that any point in the game, they could be over. He's probably got the best technique in football right now. Genuinely David Beckham-esque. How and what he can do with that ball is ridiculous. He can genuinely do the passes that I've never seen any player do ever, and he's always been this good. Just crazy how he couldn't even get the England squad for a while before he even did see how good he is. Finally, Klopp has been working him into his system. He basically works the system around Trent and gives him a free role, even though he's playing right back, and it makes the whole team much better because he can do everything. And it's hard to say who's most important for Liverpool, because it's a team at the end of the day. It's like Arsenal, it's a team. It's not necessarily one player that's the most important, but Trent will go a long way in that role. I know Salah scores all the goals, Alisson might do loads of saves, Van Dijk does brilliant defending, but Trent has that different ability that you just don't see in any player in the world, and I think that's what makes him so special. If Liverpool are going to win the league, then the next month is going to be crucial for them. They're still in a title race. It's very close between all the front 4 and 5 really, because Tottenham are there, and without Salah and Endo being there, 2 brilliant starters for them, it's going to be interesting to see how they last. Against Arsenal, they did ride their luck, but in the end were very ruthless going forward and did well to win. But will they be able to keep that up in many games? I think obviously when you play against other teams, it won't be that much of an issue, but if they're still not back by the time they have to go back to the Emirates, it could cause more problems. So we'll see how it goes for Liverpool. I also think if any sort of injury was to happen to Trent, it could be really detrimental to their side's progression. It really is a tactical anomaly. People have to leave him and try and make sure he doesn't get on the ball, but sometimes honestly people just give up and hope he doesn't have to do a good ball. If he gets injured, that's all over. They could get pressed anywhere on the pitch, and it could cause some more issues for them down the line. But obviously I wouldn't ever expect players to get injured. That's just a weird thing to say anyway. Every single team would struggle if some players got injured, so it's not really a fault of theirs. I'm also guessing that they don't have a lot of money for January, because obviously FSG have said FFP they've got to cater for, and they spent a lot in the summer, so I'll be interested to see if they bring anyone in. I don't necessarily think they need to as well, but maybe get some more depth in if you need to in certain areas where you're not going to have players for a while. If Liverpool win the league, then it's a major achievement for Klopp, and I'm sure that he will probably leave Liverpool soon, thinking that he's probably done everything he can, because even this year everyone thought he was going to leave last year because the team was struggling and it seemed like it was all over for him. Yet he's managed to regain straight away, buy some great players, and make the team really good already. Now it'll be interesting to see if Liverpool can keep this up for the rest of the year, but if they can, they definitely have every shot in the league to win, and I think they slowly are becoming favourites in the crowd to win the league. Let me know what you guys think about Liverpool's chances to win this league this season, and who is your favourite player in that Liverpool squad right now. I want to see a gauge of reactions from everyone. If you guys like this video, please go and watch my video about Curtis Jones, where I talk about how important he is to Liverpool and why he's one of the big reasons they probably can win the league this year. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and watch any of my other content. Thank you for watching.